Now more of Georgia Outdoors Radio with Brad Myers on the Bear 92.5.
Georgia Outdoors Radio. Getting a check of that weekend Bear Country forecast for us. Find out what's going on weather-wise today. Looking for a mostly sunny day. High's going to be up near 58 tonight. Calling for an 80% chance of showers. Evening low is going to be down around 48. And for tomorrow, 100% chance of showers and possible thunder showers. Rainfall amounts up to 2 inches possible. And daytime high is going to be up around 61 and going to be a bit breezy, too. Winds going to be coming out of the east at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Right now, we're checking in with 30 outside. And time to head on up towards Ackworth. Check in with our good friend, Shawn McNew, the head chef at Striper Soup. Good morning, Shawn.
Good morning, Mr. Brad.
Hey, man. Tell people a little bit about Striper Soup and what it's all about.
Well, how far back do you want me to go?
Well, just, wherever you feel like picking it up and running with it.
I guess I'll start with the name of the store. We came up with that. Originally, it was a website. It was a discussion forum for striper only, because that's what we do. Everything is striper. Don't know if there's any other fish species out there anymore. But the website, it was just a talk website discussion forum, and we kind of modeled it after the TV show Talk Soup. So the Striper Soup just kind of flows off the tongue, and we came up with the name that way. We started that back in 2005, and then the opportunity came along to start a bait shop, and with my prior knowledge of striper fishing and catching and keeping shad, everything just kind of fell into place, as you'd say. And, the store opened up in March of 2012, and we've been hard at it ever since then. We're coming up on 3 years now, Brad.
I got you. Well, that's awesome. And a shop that pretty much just caters directly to striped bass fishermen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We help all levels of anglers. Anybody just wanting to get started, the beginners come in here. They don't know anything, don't have any specified equipment, and we'll help them out from the ground up. And then we've got guides that come in here and shop with us. We've got some people that have been doing it for decades. They come in here and we talk striper fishing with them, and hopefully, we help everybody out as much as we possibly can, give them the knowledge that they need, up-to-date reports if we've got them. We've got great bait, and all the equipment we carry is specific to striper fishing.
There's not enough specialty shops like that. When I got into striper fishing years and years ago, just finding basic tackle, adequate size hooks, because we're not anywhere near, salt water. And, a lot of the striped bass fishing encompasses gear that would be used for salt water. So, to have a shop like yourselves that, even though the popularity of striped bass fishing has grown over those 30 years, it's still something that's unique to have a shop that'll cater strictly to a species-specific fisherman.
It is, and that's another good point you bring up. There's been a good following. The bass movement started way back when with the Ray Scotts and the Forest Woods guys. They got that thing going big time, got it on TV, got real popular, and now that's the big thing. When somebody thinks of fishing, they think of bass fishing and sparkly boats and bass tournaments and the green fish. Mm-hmm. But the movement's been back in the back for a while. The striper fishing, they found out that they could live landlocked, I think, back in the late 60s in South Carolina in St. T. Cooper.
Yep.
When they dammed it up and accidentally figured out, hey, we're catching 40-pound fish out of nowhere. This is awesome. And,
where'd they come from? That's what they're trying to think.
Exactly. And they've got the lock over there, which is pretty awesome. They've got a window in it. You can actually go watch the fish when they're on their spring spawning migration. You can watch them run up the river and look through the window, and you get to see the herring and the striper too.
See, that's something I wasn't aware of, and it'd be something that I'd really love to see because something like that it's just got the cool factor going for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
the market, I was going to say, the market itself, it's kind of come along real slow, and there's enough product now where you can actually have a store dedicated just to striper. You know, you got the trout guys, you got the bass guys, and it's been a long time coming to have a store specific, like you said, that carries the equipment, the stronger hooks, the bigger weights, the reels, the rods, everything, and bait catching and keeping equipment, rod holders, all the accessories that go along with it that people really don't think about unless you get into striper fishing. Then you're like, hey, I need this and I need that. And
that's it.
There hasn't been a store where you can go just one place and get everything you need until now, Striper Soup.
This is true. And, you know, bait is another key thing. And, you know, so many shops will carry, you know, certain amounts of live bait, but you know, for a bait shop to be able to carry shad, they really have to know their stuff, and they really have to have a good source to get the shad. And you kind of got the best of both worlds working for you guys out there at Striper Soup.
Oh yeah, well we basically wholesale shad to the public. I go out and catch the shad. I've been doing it for years. We've always got fresh bait on tap, and we carry. Not only do we carry shad, but we carry really good, frisky, lively shad. And I hunt the best sources for them. There's such thing as a bad shad. You can go out and find a bunch of fish, but if they're not in good condition, they're not going to be great for bait. And that's another thing we do is we weed out those poor sources, and we go for the best shad and bring them back to the shop. And, you know, we've been through our share of trials and tribulations and thousands of dollars worth of dead fish in the back, and it's been a long road, but we've pretty much got it where we think we're doing pretty good with it. And all of our customers, they know the value of the shad. Everybody's happy with the quality of our bait, and the consistency is another thing. We've had shad in here 365 days a year since March of 2012. We're real proud of that.
Well, you know, and that's one thing for striper fishermen. You know, a lot of times the striper fisherman's going to want to catch their own shad, but any striper fisherman knows as well, too, you can spend more time chasing bait than you will actually pursuing your game fish.
Oh, absolutely, Brad. We've got, I'm not going to name any names, but pretty much every guide that's local to this area, the guides on Allatoona and some of the guides even on Carter's, they've all come through here at one point in time or another and said, hey, man, I had an emergency. The bait I caught yesterday died, and do you guys have shad? And the answer is always yes. Come on, bring it on. And we give our guides a little concession on the bait prices because, you know, they use higher quantities than most people. Most people come through and they buy 2 or 3 dozen. The guides come through and they get 8 or 10 dozen. So
yeah, absolutely.
We sell a bunch of bait to those guys too, and it really makes us happy that we've had so many customers and great customers and repeat business. And I think a lot of that's due to our bait.
Now, is the shad that you carry, is it all strictly gizzard shads, or do you carry some threadfin from time to time as well?
That's a really good question. We carry the threadfins, yes, and we have, at this point in time, we don't carry the threadfin. It's been a little too cold. Our tanks are outside, and they don't survive when the water temperature gets below 42, 43. They start to roll over. So our bait tank water is right at that level, so we're not carrying the threadfin, but we usually have them about probably 8 months out of the year.
And
we have a couple different sizes. We carry a smaller threadfin, then we have what we call a mixed threadfin, then we have a jumbo threadfin. And you could actually go to our website and see all the different types that we have. And for the gizzard shad, Brad, we carry a small, a medium, a large, and what we call the big boys, we call mongos.
Mongos. We always called them Old Esmeralda.
Yeah, Hermans and Georges. I've heard about everything.
Now, how about herring? You know, because blueback herring is another popular bait striper fishermen like to fish with.
Well, blueback herring is a great bait. The thing about the blueback is it's only legal in certain lakes. Like you've got Lake Lanier, you've got Nautilus, you've got Juliet, you know, and the Savannah River chain. You got Faultful Russell and Parks Hill. So it's only legal in a few different lakes. Unfortunately, it's not in Allatoona, and so it's just not a bait that we keep in stock because we don't have that demand right here.
And I would imagine trout would be a different story.
trout, that's an interesting thing. People try to say, well, the striper, they don't have trout in the lake, so they're not going to eat them. Well, my comeback to that is they don't have umbrella rigs in the lake either, but they eat those.
Exactly right. Well, and the same could be said for eels. I've always wanted to fish with eel, and a lot of stripers, face it, ones in Lanier have never seen an eel, but I don't see them turning their nose up at one.
Well, it is a natural forage food for them. The striper are originally a saltwater fish, and they're imported, and we stock them here every year just so we have something to catch, something that'll pull on your line. That's what we like about them.
Right.
And they feed on the eels up there at the Chesapeake Bay, the saltwater fish. They're big eel eaters, so I think it's ingrained in them. It's an instinct.
Yeah, I would think so too. Now, going back to the trout. Trout are, a huge advantage for striper anglers this time of year, being they can tolerate the cold water so much better, and they're really a whole lot hardier in the wintertime. For the different trout that you guys got, do you have one particular size you carry? Do you carry several different sizes like you do with the shad?
Well, it varies. A lot of it varies based on what we can actually get our hands on, and we're kind of restrained by the hatcheries and what size fish they have. Every time they breed out a batch of eggs, they start out, and the hatchery's goal is to grow them up as fast as they can. They don't really cater to our whims. We're like, yeah, we need some 6 to 7 inch trout, or we need some 9 to 10 inch trout. They're like, well, this is what we got. So that's what we get. At this point in time today, if you came down here, what we would have is a good 6 to 7 inch trout, which we just got in yesterday, and then we've got some bigger boys. We got some probably 10 to 14 inch trout.
That's frying size, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if the public ever found out about that, we might be able to put the grocery stores out of business on fresh trout sales.
Yeah, because that's a whole lot cheaper than what you pay for them at the store, that's for sure.
That's right, and they're still kicking.
Yes, sir. Now,
but they are a hardy bait, and you mentioned that earlier. You can put a trout on the hook, drag him around the lake all day, even get him hit a couple times, and then when you're done fishing with him, put him back in your bait tank and get him out 2 weeks later and use him again.
Yeah, they can take that kind of, use for sure. Now, you guys got a striper tournament coming up. It's kind of a unique tournament. Let's talk a little bit about that and, what anglers can do to get involved in it, because there's not a whole lot of striper tournaments out there to begin with. And, it's just, to me, I always like being around a striper tournament. My kind of fisherman.
Definitely. It's kind of rare to get the competitive edge in the striper fishing, and it's been done throughout the past couple of decades. We've had striper tournaments, the National Striped Bass Association, the Southeast Striped Bass Association. They've all held some trails, but the intrinsic problem with striper is it's hard to keep them alive, and you can't. They came up with a design for a tank. It was actually a tube that you put the fish in and kept them on your boat all day, and it was still questionable as to whether or not the fish was surviving. A striper is not like a bass. You can't fight them and bring them to the boat and put them in a live well and let them beat around in the live well all day, take them out, look at them, weigh them, and then take them back to the lake and turn them loose. They just don't do like that. Their physiology is not such. So we got to be real careful with the fish. We don't want to promote a bunch of killing, needlessly, just for show, just for money. So what we do is we have what we call a CPR tournament. That's catch, photo, and release. And we'll provide all the people that are going to be in the tournament, we'll provide them with measuring boards where they catch their fish immediately, take it off the hook as quickly as possible, lay it on the board, take a picture of it, and then they email it to the tournament committee, and we review the picture, and we log the fish. And, of course, everybody's got their own number. Each boat is assigned a number, so we know who caught what. And that's been the big issue with striper tournaments, is it's just hard to make it look good in the public eye of not killing a bunch of fish. So the tournament we've got coming up, we're calling it Striper Revolution. It's a nice buzz term that's going on nowadays. But what it is, we're gonna it's a little different format. We're going to start it off Saturday morning, December 6th, and we're going to start on dry land. We're going to be in the Cabela's parking lot here in Ackworth, and all the captains are going to show up. You don't have to bring their boats, but they have to be there. We're going to hand out the tournament boards and make sure they understand all the rules and where to send the pictures to. And then they're going to have basically from 8 a.m. on to noon on Sunday. They're going to have 28 straight hours to catch the 2 longest fish they can.
Now, as far as taking the pictures, go and submitting them, say somebody catches 2 fish and they get one that's even bigger. They can submit a 3rd fish and just go with the 2 best ones, or they strictly can only submit 2?
They can submit as many entries as they want to, and that's the beauty of it, because we're not, to the biggest degree, this time of year, the water's cold enough, we can release the fish. There's no constraints on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like catching fish in the summer where almost all of them are dying.
Right.
So that's why we hold the tournament in the colder months, and anyone can catch as many as they want to. You catch a 30-inch fish and then turn around and catch a 31-inch fish, well, you can replace that one fish, and no harm has been done to the fishery.
Shoot, yeah. And as far as entry fee, what kind of entry fee are you looking at, and what kind of purses are being offered?
Okay, we've got the entry fee per boat is $150. And, you can have as many people as you want on your boat, as many as it'll legally carry. So if you got a big party barge pontoon boat, heck, you can have 8 or 10 people on there and split it up. But, most of these guys are running a center console boat, so you'll have 2, 3, 4 guys per boat. Then we've got an optional $50 big fish pot where if you want to, and everybody has so far, they've put in $50. We got a limit on the number of boats. We're wanting to keep it relatively small. I don't want 200 boats out there running around, liability and issues like that. You start dealing with some unsportsmanlike deals when the money gets a little bit too high.
Mm-hmm.
So we're keeping it kind of reasonable. If we fill the field with all 35 boats, the payout's going to be $2,500 for first place.
Nice. So
plus the big fish payout. So, depending on how many people get in on the big fish, there could be a pretty hefty payout for that.
Now, as far as entries go, is it entries per boat, or is it just entries per angler? So if, say, for instance, I've got a boat out there and I've got 5 people in with me, can each one enter the fish, or is it just that boat that enters those fish?
It's kind of like a team tournament. It's per boat. So everybody that's on a boat is basically on the same team. And it's up to the captain, I guess, to split the winnings up. They can fight over that afterwards, after the award ceremony.
So you guys are meeting at Cabela's, and that's going to be on the 8th, you said?
Actually, Saturday, December 6th.
Okay, December 6th.
Yes.
So you'll meet at Cabela's, and then I guess you'll meet back there, or are you going to be meeting back at Striper Soup for the I guess the roundup, if you will?
The roundup, the hoedown, as it would be, is going to be actually at a place a friend of mine has up in Emerson, Georgia. All the details are on the website if you want to go. Can I tell the website, Brad?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, it's stripersoup.com, and the first page you see is going to have a link to the forum, the Striper Soup forum, then there's a link to the store. You want to go to the store link to see the tournament page, and then you just click on the tournament tab, and there's another link there to download all the details and rules and regulations. So the address is on there. Everything you need to know is on there. If you want to check it out and get in on it, there's going to be some really great striper fishermen. And the biggest thing, something I forgot to mention, is when we depart from Cabela's, the guys get to fish any lake they want to in Georgia.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to get to, because that is a unique format. It's not like they're restricted to one particular body of water.
Right. The only restriction we have is they got to stay in Georgia, and it's got to be a landlocked fish. They can't go be fishing rivers that are running into the ocean and catching those big salty stripes.
Right. So any lake, if they wanted to go fish, whether it was Lake Seminole all the way up to Hiawassee Lake.
Yes, sir. They can run if they want to take the drive. They're going to take a lot of time out, heading that far. But I suspect that we're going to have some guys fishing the Savannah River chain. definitely on Lanier, definitely on Carter's. And if there is a winning fish in Altoona, you can't count that lake out. I even think there's going to be a 40-pounder caught this spring out of Altoona. We've had some really good weather the past 2 or 3 years, really moderate summer temperatures, nothing too hot. The big fish have been able to survive. You're going to see big fish coming out of Gnarly. You know, just these guys, they're going to fish. They're going to play their best hand. It's 2 fish, so it's not like you got to fish a whole lot. If you can get lucky, you know, you catch 2 fish at the same time, and your whole tournament will be over in 10 minutes.
Yep, you got that right. And that's Nautilus Lake I was thinking of, not Hiawassee Lake, because Hiawassee Lake's actually up in North Carolina. But, yeah, that's an awesome deal. And, you know, my biggest fish to date, stripe-wise, is did come from Altoona. So I know there's some big fish in there, some quality fish, and some great fishing to be done in Lake Altoona for individuals that hadn't fished it. And good thing about fishing Altoona, they're close to striper soup.
Yep, that's it. They get all the good, fresh, frisky bait they can handle right from the source. Another thing I want to mention about the tournament is the hoedown afterwards. We're going to have the award ceremony. The last picture is the cutoff is at noon on Sunday. That's the 28 hours. And then the hoedown award ceremony is going to be at 3 p.m. up in, it's actually on a farm. There's a pond up there. We're going to have a barbecue and a bonfire and a live band playing. So we're going to have a good time afterwards. Hopefully everybody will hang out and chill out with us and have a good time.
Absolutely. Now, for something like the weigh in or for your hoedown, individuals that may not be fishing the tournament but may want to come check that out, is that something that's open to the public?
Oh, man, we'd love to have as many people as could show up as possible. The more the merrier on a deal like that.
Yes, sir, indeed. Well, Shawn, listen, my man, I really appreciate you taking time with us this morning and get you back on the air again here real soon because got some stuff going to be doing in the near future on shad and also some Christmas gift ideas. You know, I'm going to be working on that up until Christmas time, being that you guys cater to the striper fishermen. If somebody's got a stripe fisherman on their, shopping list, it's a great place to go check out. You guys got an online store, too, I know. Go ahead and tell people the website, and if they want more information on the tournament, they can find the information there as well. Okay.
Yeah, again, the website, and I really appreciate it. It's an honor talking to you today, Brad.
Absolutely.
The website is Striper Soup, and that's Striper with 1 P. 2 P's makes it something entirely different.
Yep.
Christmas gift ideas, if your guy catches shad for his own bait, cast nets are great. We've got planer boards that we build here. A lot of the stuff we make in-house, like our weights. We've got filter material for bait tanks, just about anything you can think of, rod holders, anything under the sun for striper fishing. And gift ideas, it's great to come in here before Christmas and get your hubby who likes to striper fish something good.
That's it. Plus, too, if somebody's trying to get involved in striper fishing, it's a great starting place because you guys will give them a ton of knowledge to get them started on the right foot.
That's right. There's no stupid questions. We treat everybody the same when they come in here. The funniest thing is when someone comes in here and asks if we got crappie fishing stuff or bass fishing stuff, and we just we give them a puzzled look and say, "A what?"
You just tell them that's bait.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we don't know if there's anything other than a striper out there.
If there is, it's bait, like Bubba said. Well, Shawn, we really appreciate you joining us this morning, and look forward to talking to you again soon. And, hopefully we can get you back on here one more time before the tournament just to let some more people know about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, 92.5 The Bear.
All right. Rock on, man. We'll see you.
See ya.
All right. That's Shawn McNew. We're going to take a quick break. Back with more Georgia Outdoors Radio still to come. We're going to talk about a organization, kind of a little group, and got together and decided they wanted to do something to give back to our veterans. And we'll do that as we continue with Georgia Outdoors Radio here on 92.5 The Bear.